Hey everyone, I'm Joe and today it's time for me to talk about everything I watched at the cinema in the month of April and May. I normally do this monthly, but because of the fact that I haven't actually been to cinema as much in the last 2 months, I thought I would combine them because there's only actually 3 trips to cinema involved, so it's going to be relatively short. Now, the first film that I watched at cinema was probably the most publicised, the most well-known film on the planet at the moment. Well, at least it was a few weeks ago, it probably still is. And that is Avengers Infinity War. Yes, this is the big Marvel film that everybody's been waiting for. They've been building up to this Infinity War since the original Iron Man 10 years ago. I have actually seen every single Marvel Cinematic Universe film at the cinema, other than the first 4 films, which I missed for unknown reason. And this is finally a culmination of all that. And therefore, the amount of people it has in it, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, and all the others from all the other different franchises, I'm not going to say too much about because they all have their own screen time. They all do a good job. This is a film that I liked, but I didn't love the film because I thought personally that there's too much going on in the film as such. You've got so much build up from all the other Marvel films into this 2.5-hour film. And it felt as though each character and set of characters and such only had a very brief moment to show their sort of stuff and shine, and it just about kind of worked, but not fully. I know some people love this film; they're classing it as the best Marvel film ever. I'm really not. I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. It is really good. It's just not as fantastic as what I was kind of hoping for. The problem is, there's so much hype and so much build up to this, obviously being 10 years since the Iron Man, that the anticipation for this was frankly massive, and what they had to live up to was also equally ridiculously high. So it would have been extremely difficult for them to live up to it for me, and they didn't quite manage it, but it was still good, just lacking certain things. And the way the film ended and how it's going to go on to next year's Infinity War Part 2, which I know is no longer it's going to be called that, but it was called that originally. It's going to be curious because obviously, and indeed they have been very careful and very paranoid about giving away the name of next year's Infinity War film, because whatever the name of it is going to be will heavily give away how it's going to continue on from the end of this one, which is curious to say the least. The second film that I watched at the cinema was Deadpool 2. This was directed by David Leitch, and it is starring, unsurprisingly, Ryan Reynolds again. And it also stars Josh Brolin and Zazie Beetz as Domino. And for the record, her particular role in it as Domino was frankly fantastic. And when they make a third one, which they've virtually confirmed at this point, I think I might have confirmed it, but I can't remember, but going by the plot and the public's obviously enthusiasm for the film, which mine definitely is as well, I would be surprised if there's not a third one. I really would, because this film was frankly better than the first one, I thought. Yes, some people had issues with certain aspects I don't want to spoil because to do with the plot line, but I liked it overall. They did the same sort of things in the first one, which is basically Deadpool is a super sort of brilliant mercenary, basically, who gets something done to him and basically gets mutant powers. He's set in the X-Men universe, and his power is basically he can heal virtually anything. It's essentially Wolverine, close enough, although without the adamantium skeleton, although that was obviously an operation after the fact. And Deadpool is fourth wall breaking, for one thing. He talks to the camera and the audience as though they were right next to you, like as though I was talking to you now, which in virtually most of the films doesn't generally work, but in Deadpool it does work because obviously that is the whole point of the film as such, and the pacing of it works extremely well because you've got Deadpool who is being sarcastic about everything, including himself, about Ryan Reynolds and about being Canadian and such, which was obviously a nice touch. And you've also got him being sarcastic about the other actors as well as characters. which is a nice little twist as well, which I think worked really well. And just overall, this film was just really fun and just really well made. I mean, you can tell the fact that Ryan Reynolds was enthusiastic about making this, and they put a lot of effort into making it, because every single sort of element was well thought out and well considered, and it was just really, really fun. The third and last film that I saw over these 2 months was Solo, a Star Wars story. This was directed by Ron Howard, and frankly I don't really need to say too much about this because it's a Star Wars film, frankly. This is based around the adventures of the young Han Solo from obviously the original trilogy and indeed the new ones. And for the record, I much prefer this film, Solo, over the previous 2 new episodes, episode 7 and episode 8. And indeed, I actually preferred Rogue One over those 2 episodes as well, because I think the new episodes, basically they're full of plot holes and flaws all the way through, and I have issues with them. This film, whilst it may be a bit more simple as such, and you know that obviously Han Solo must survive, Chewbacca must survive, it's their story of how they got together and how they got hold of the Millennium Falcon, for instance, and it does indeed mention the Kessel Run, which is obviously extremely famous from the original trilogy. It works well, and it's simpler in a sense because it doesn't have all the expectation and all the lore dragging it back, which I think the new episodes do have, because I think they are kind of constrained by it, and also the new ones have issues with trying to make themselves into comedies when they're not. This one has amusing elements, but it knows what kind of film it's trying to be, and I like Solo much better than the other 2 episodes, and it's indeed one of my sort of favourite science fiction films of recent days. Well, not my absolute favourite, of course, but certainly high up there, and I'm well thinking of this film. So, with that said, that is actually it for everything I've watched at the cinema. If you've watched any of these, or if you're going to watch something and you think I might not be aware of it, then please leave a comment, because of course I will and do miss films at the cinema occasionally. Unfortunately, I try to watch as many interesting films as I can, but I can't always track everything else going on. And that is it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.